Let's move on to the fifth and final main topic today. And our fifth and final main topic today gets sent in to us from Samuel Polay, who writes, Netflix's The Irishman was planned as the biggest theatrical rollout ever for Netflix. Well, they've hit a snag, as even a longer, for Netflix, 3-week window wasn't enough to sign on the major theater chains. Now The Irishman will only be seen in indie theaters and smaller chains like Alamo Drafthouse. Will the theater chains ever make a deal with Netflix? All right. Thanks for sending that in. And yes, there was plans for Irishman to do a theatrical release first. And it will. It's still going to play in some theaters, but none of the major theatrical chains. And then immediately start airing on Netflix. I said this was going to be a problem, and it was a problem. Here's the issue. Most movie theater chains have a very reasonable rule that all the studios have to respect and abide by. That reasonable rule is this. If you want us to exhibit your movie, then you have to give it a 90-day or 3-month, roughly around there, give or take, a roughly 3-month window that it is a theatrical movie, and then you can air it other ways. You can put it out on DVD, you can put it out on streaming, whatever. But that's the rule. Disney has to follow that rule. Warner Brothers has to follow that rule. Paramount has to follow that rule. Lionsgate has to follow that rule. Sony has to follow that rule. Fox has had to follow that rule. Everybody has to follow that rule. For a Cinemark, a Landmark, Regal, AMC, doesn't matter. We are more than happy to play your movie in our theaters, but you got to give us a certain window of time then. If you want us to pump your movie like that and put it in our theaters, you have to give us a window of time that is a theatrical movie, and then you can do what you want to do with it after that. That's the rule everybody has to follow. Netflix, unfortunately, thinks they shouldn't have to abide by the rules. Netflix thinks they're special. Netflix thinks they're better than everybody else, and they shouldn't have to. Now, look, it's important to note here, too, that Amazon and Amazon Prime, they've made original feature films, and they've put them out in theaters. One of the best examples of this, of course, is The Big Sick, right? With Kumail Nanjiani. That movie is freaking brilliant. It's awesome. It's an Amazon Prime original. And they decided, you know what, we're going to put this in theaters first. And they put it in theaters, gave it its theatrical window, and now it's on Amazon Prime. They've done that with other films. Some films they don't have enough belief in, and so they keep it in-house and they don't put it out in theaters. They just put it right on Amazon Prime. But for the ones they think should have theatrical releases, they follow the rules. They do what every other studio does, put it into a theater, give it a certain window when it's a theatrical exclusive, and then they put it on their streaming service. Netflix is the little spoiled brat who thinks they're entitled to everything. And I say that as a Netflix fan. I have Netflix. I watch a lot of stuff on Netflix. I am now very excited to see The Irishman. I wasn't always excited to see The Irishman, but I am now. I'm excited to see The Irishman, all this kind of stuff. But they don't want to follow the rules that everybody else has to, and then they cry like little fucking babies about it. Well, the theaters won't. No, the theaters are totally willing to have your movie play in their facilities. They want to have your movie in their facilities. But there are rules in place for the theater's safety, for the theater's well-being, for the theater's business, and rules that everybody else follows. And we're just saying you've got to follow them too, just like everybody else. We're not punishing you. We're not doing anything bad to you. We're just asking you to follow the same rules that everybody else does that helps keep the industry running. And Netflix is, no. And that's fine if they just never want to bother looking at it, but they make issues out of it. And I don't know. To me, Netflix sometimes is a bewildering thing. I like a lot of their stuff. I've been a Netflix subscriber maybe as long as some of you who are watching this have been alive, depending how young some of you are. I have been a Netflix subscriber for that long, all the way going back to the early, we'll mail you DVD days. I've been a subscriber to Netflix. And I love them, but sometimes they're unmitigated assholes. And they just act like entitled little babies sometimes. But at any rate, I don't know that I would have gone to see this in the theater. I mean, I'm not going to go see this in theater knowing it's only going to be in the theaters for like a few days and then it's just going to be on Netflix anyway. I would have gone to the theater to watch this had they given it a real theatrical release. I would have gone. But I'm more than happy to sit down and watch it when it comes out. Anyway, that's just my thought on this. So you see, it's not about, the question is not, will the theaters ever make a deal with Netflix? Will Netflix ever stop being whiny little bitches and actually just go, yeah, okay, we'll follow the rules just like everybody else? Will Netflix ever stop going, no, we're special? Will they ever stop doing that? That's the question. And if they do, great. If they want to follow the example of an Amazon, great. And if not, then just shut up about it and just put your movies out on your own streaming service and be quiet about everything else. If you don't want your movies to be theatrical released, then you don't have to, no problem. But don't pull this entitled little garbage about we should be treated special. I hate that. Rubs me the wrong way. Can you tell? Can you tell it rubs me the wrong way? Also, I'm a little bit sick, so I'm a little bit irritated by it. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on that. If you guys have your own thoughts on that, I'd love to hear them. Jump down to the comments section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys.